And we went to Berkshire to see a man about his cacti.
I don't like to think of myself as obsessive, but I do get into hobbies quite full on. I'm Martin. I've been a live sound engineer for quite a few years. I drive bands on tour. I've played in bands, metal mostly, played in a few punk bands. My partner Trixie bought me a little green cactus.
I'm Trixie. I love gardening very much. Being out in nature and birds, flowers, you know, I just love it. It's great. Martin wasn't really into gardening when I met him, and then I bought him one cactus.
This is the plant. It's a Machicana Madisonarium, and things progressed from there.
Martin being Martin, the whole thing just exploded, and we've ended up with, I don't know, close to 1,000 cactuses in the back garden, which is quite funny. Maybe I should have bought him like a Shetland pony or something, and then I'd have a whole garden full of ponies, but instead I got cactuses, so oh well.
I had windowsills full of these little plants, and spring came around and they all started to flower, which blew my mind because I'd never actually seen a cactus flower before, so then I got really into them. First thing I'd do is take them out of the pot to have a look at the roots. So you can see there's definitely evidence of mealybugs. The white fluff that they produce, they're sucking insects. They latch onto the body or the root of the plant and they just slowly sit there and suck all the nutrients out of it. Some people just sort of spray them and they'll appear to have gone, but they'll come back. So I usually physically remove them by spraying them with soap and hosing them down until they're clear. Let them dry and then pot them up again. Keep an eye on them. Well, they're just such resilient plants. I think that's what I find most fascinating about them. They can be neglected, have no water for like a year or more, and although they look dead, they're not, and you can bring them back to life pretty easily. And I think potting them up and cleaning them up and making what was once a horrible looking little scabby plant suddenly grow into a nice looking plant, it's pretty good fun. I got quite good at it. So the soil I use is cat litter mostly. It's 2 parts cat litter, 1 part loam-based compost. It's really good because it absorbs water really quick, which makes watering easy, and it drains fast, and everything's growing really well in it. So to pot this guy up, I use a little bit of shade cloth to cover the hole in the bottom. It's really important that you have a hole in the bottom. And put some of this in. And then just pop him in, and then just fill in around the edges. And I'll use a chopstick to push the soil down. And I'll put some nice top dressing on. This is just lava rock, and it just makes it look nicer. It also helps that it changes colour when you water it. There we go, little stabby potted up. Brutal.
I really like them. I'm a bit upset that I don't have a greenhouse anymore. He's stolen both of them. But yeah, I enjoy them, and I like seeing the enjoyment that Martin gets from them. Yeah, so it makes me happy seeing him happy.
Well, this one's pretty interesting. It's a Stenosirius eruca, or its common name is the creeping devil, which is pretty cool. Pretty metal name. They're interesting because they grow lying down, and they actually move across the desert, which is why they're called the creeping devil. As the end dies, the tip carries on growing, so eventually they shuffle along and spread out across the desert. Then they grow new little offsets, and they grow and detach from the mother plant, and they creep off in another direction. You don't need a greenhouse to grow cactus. They grow quite happily in a south-facing window. The thing to keep in mind is they don't like heat in the winter, So sat above a radiator in the winter is pretty bad for them because they continue to try and grow and they don't actually go dormant, and then you need to keep watering them. So if you can put them somewhere cooler in the winter, like in a porch or somewhere like that, then they do really well. Echinopsis are a cool plant for a beginner. They flower amazingly well. They have these huge flowers. There's lots and lots of different hybrids, and they all have different colour flowers, different sizes and shapes. When they flower, it's incredible. They come up at night and they only last a day, but if you look after them well, they'll flower throughout the season. Springtime is the best time for growing cactus. They've been completely dormant and all shriveled up and dry out all winter, and then the first bit of water you give them, they just suddenly burst into life. They swell up and the buds form and the flowers burst open, and it's just really nice to see that. One of my favourites is definitely the Ariocarpus. They're really cool, slow-growing Mexican plants, and they just look really moody. Most of the plant is actually under the ground. They have this huge taproot where they store all the water. They're kind of mean-looking plants. In my head, they have this like doom metal soundtrack that goes along with them. I think having plants and just spending time with nature is, you know, really therapeutic. It's good for your mental health. It makes you feel good to nurture and look after these little things. So all of these back here are seedlings from last year. I've just pricked them all out and put them in their own little pots. The Aztecium, these ones are actually 4-year-old seedlings. They grow very, very, very slowly. I'm glad she bought me that cactus.
Yeah, I'm not. No, I am. Sorry. No, sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Can we do that again?
Yeah, sorry.